J.J. Abrams' Star Trek 2009 movie has a secret Captain Kirk callback from the original series. J.J. Abrams' Star Trek 2009 has a secret callback to Captain James T. Kirk's William Shatner first adventure in Star Trek, the original series. Although a few episodes of Star Trek aired before it in 1966, Where No Man Has Gone Before was produced as the second pilot for Star Trek after NBC rejected Gene Roddenberry's original pilot, The Cage. Where No Man Has Gone Before shows visual signs of Star Trek still being in progress, such as different Starfleet uniforms from the color-coded tunics that became iconic in Star Trek. Although Star Trek 2009 was a reboot that set the new adventures of Captain James T. Kirk, Chris Pine, and the Starship Enterprise in an alternate reality that became known as the Kelvin Timeline, J.J. Abrams' blockbuster contains numerous ties back to Star Trek, the original series. Along with familiar Star Trek characters and planets like Vulcan, there are hidden Easter eggs for longtime Trekkies to spot. One of those is the name of the world Commander Spock Zachary Quinto stranded Kirk on when the Vulcan banished him from the Enterprise. Star Trek 2009 has a secret callback to Captain Kirk and an original series planet. James T. Kirk was stranded on a planet named Delta Vega by Spock and J.J. Abrams' Star Trek 2009, and the name of the frozen world is a callback to Star Trek, the original series' second pilot, Where No Man Has Gone Before. Delta Vega in Star Trek 2009 is an ice planet not unlike Hoth in The Empire Strikes Back. J.J. Abrams is a lifelong Star Wars fan, complete with a monster that chased Kirk, not unlike the creature in the J.J. Abrams produced Cloverfield. On Delta Vega, Kirk encountered Ambassador Spock Leonard Nimoy, who was stranded there by the time-traveling Romulan villain Nero Eric Bana. Due to its proximity to Vulcan, Spock was forced to watch Nero destroy his homeworld. Spock then took Kirk to a research facility where they found Montgomery Scott Simon Pegg and Keenser Deep Roy. After Spock gave Scotty his own equation for transwarp beaming, Kirk, Scotty, and Keenser were able to beam back to the Starship Enterprise. In Star Trek, the original series, Delta Vega is a different planet entirely. Located a few light days warp travel from the galactic barrier at the edge of the galaxy, Delta Vega was chosen by the Starship Enterprise to strand LT. Gary Mitchell, Gary Lockwood, and Dr. Elizabeth Denner, Sally Kellerman. Exposure to strange energies in the galactic barrier gave Mitchell and Denner psychic powers and made them a danger to the USS Enterprise. Delta Vega is the final resting place of LT. Gary Mitchell and Dr. Elizabeth Denner. Captain Kirk fought LT Gary Mitchell to the death on Delta Vega in Star Trek, the original series, Where No Man Has Gone Before. The Delta Vega scene in Star Trek, the original series, is a planet with mountains and exotic vegetation instead of the frozen landscape in Star Trek 2009. Another key difference is 2's Delta Vega is the final resting place of LT, Gary Mitchell and Dr. Elizabeth Denner. Kirk's enemy Gary Mitchell and 2's Delta Vega aren't in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. Presumably, both planets named Delta Vega exist in Star Trek's Prime Timeline and J.J. Abrams' alternate Kelvin Timeline, since they are in separate regions of the galaxy. In the Kelvin Timeline, Delta Vega in the Vulcan star system remains even though the planet Vulcan itself has been destroyed. Delta Vega wasn't named outright in Star Trek 2009, but it's a subtle callback appropriately connecting J.J. Abrams' reboot to the beginnings of Star Trek, the original series. J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek reboot boldly went where no franchise film had gone before, back to the beginning. With its fresh-faced cast, adrenaline-fueled pacing, and alternate timeline twist, it re-energized a legacy that began in 1966. While much of the film reimagines the characters and events that define the original series TOS, eagle-eyed fans notice something deeper simmering beneath the warp speed action, one subtle yet poignant callback to Captain James T. Kirk's roots that speaks volumes. It's a blink and you miss it moment, tucked amid the chaos of a near universe-ending catastrophe, but it's a masterstroke of reverence. To appreciate it fully, you have to know the original Kirk, not just the myth, but the man behind the command. And in Abrams' Star Trek, that legacy returns in a way only true fans of TOS would fully grasp. The callback, Kirk's test, is more than just the Kobayashi Maru. Yes, the infamous Kobayashi Maru test makes a loud entrance in the 2009 film. A young, cocky Kirk played with swaggering charm by Chris Pine saunters into the simulation with an apple in hand, chewing with delight as he hacks the unwinnable scenario. This moment is, of course, a nod to Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, where Admiral Kirk recalls beating the test by reprogramming it. But Abrams layers in a deeper callback that connects to something more profound. In the 1967 episode, Where No Man Has Gone Before, we learn that James T. Kirk was once an instructor at Starfleet Academy, known for being a stack of books with legs, a no-nonsense intellect with a penchant for challenging his students. He also once had to make a tough call when one of his closest friends, Gary Mitchell, developed godlike powers. Kirk had to choose between friendship and duty, and it haunted him. What Abrams captures in his 2009 film is not just the idea that Kirk is a rebellious genius who cheats death, but that beneath his bravado is a man who learns from the hardest decisions. The callback isn't just about the apple or the simulation, it's about the very way Pine's Kirk is shaped by the ghost of TOS Kirk's greatest trials. The apple, revisited. The apple isn't just a prop, it's a deliberate visual homage to William Shatner's Kirk. In the original series episode, The Apple, the captain literally bites into the forbidden fruit while discussing the morality of interfering with alien civilizations. That image, Kirk casually munching an apple in the middle of a crisis, was iconic. It framed him as a man in control, unfazed by danger, with a rebellious streak hiding an ethical mind. In Abrams' reboot, Pine's Kirk devours that apple during the Kobayashi Maru test, flaunting his disregard for protocol in the name of survival. It's not just bravado. It's Kirk channeling that same spirit, defiant, clever, and subtly reflective of the weight that command brings. This callback is subtle but poignant. It's visual shorthand. Abrams isn't just saying, "This is a new Kirk." He's whispering, "The old Kirk is still here, hiding in the DNA." The fight against fate. One of the most defining traits of Captain Kirk in TOS was his resistance to fate. In episodes like City on the Edge of Forever, Kirk is forced to confront time, destiny, and loss. He never blindly follows the rules, he challenges them when they conflict with his moral compass. That's the essence of the Kobayashi Maru moment, and it's what Abrams sneaks back in with an emotional punch. What fans of the original series understand is that Kirk's solution to the test isn't just a cheat, it's a declaration of identity. I don't believe in no-win scenarios. This ethos is at the heart of who he is. It's how he outsmarts Klingons, seduces Romulans, and tames the wild frontiers of space, not just through strength, but through sheer will and optimism. Abrams' Kirk is painted as a reckless orphan and barroom brawler, but that callback to the apple and the simulation brings him full circle. He is destined to become that Kirk. The one who beats impossible odds not because he cheats, but because he refuses to give up. A new timeline, same legacy. Abrams' film is all about new beginnings. The timeline fracture allows for endless reinvention. But amid the chaos, it quietly honors the roots of Star Trek with moments like this. It tells longtime fans, the spirit of the series isn't gone. It's just wearing a different uniform. That moment, the apple, the test, the grin, wasn't just a nod to Wrath of Khan. It was a salute to the original series and the psychological complexity of James T. Kirk. It showed that even in an alternate timeline, Kirk's core remains the same, brilliant, bold, and willing to rewrite the rules of the universe if it means saving lives. So the next time you rewatch Abrams' Star,